Debbie Bridge, How the Raven Helped People. The raven and the eagle were cousins, and they were almost always friendly. But whenever they talked together about people, they quarreled.
"People are lazy,"
declared the eagle.
"There is no use in trying to help them. The more one does for them, the less they do for themselves."
"You fly so high," said the raven, "that you can't see how hard people work. I think that we birds who know so much more than they ought to help them."
"They don't work." "Oh, no,"
cried the eagle.
"What have they to do? I should like to know. They walk about on the ground, and their food grows close to their nests. Well, if they had to fly through the air as we do and get their food wherever they could, they might talk about working hard."
"That is just why we ought to help them," replied the raven. "They can't mount up into the air as we do. They can't see anything very well unless it's near them, and if they had to run and catch their food, they would surely die of hunger. They are poor, weak creatures, and there's not a hummingbird that doesn't know many things that they never heard of."
"You are a poor, weak bird if you think you can teach people. When they feel hungry, they will eat, and they don't know how to do anything else. Just look at them. They ought to be going to sleep, and they don't know enough to do even that."
"How can they know that it's night when they have no sun and no moon to tell them when it's day and when it's night?"
"They wouldn't go to sleep even if they had 2 moons,"
said the eagle.
"and you're no true cousin of mine if you don't let them alone."
So the two birds quarreled. Almost every time they met, they quarreled about people, and at last, whenever the eagle began to mount into the air, the raven went near the earth. Now the eagle had a pretty daughter. She and the raven were good friends, and they never quarreled about people. One day, the pretty daughter said, "Cousin Raven, are you too weak to fly as high as you used to do?" "I never was less weak," declared the raven. "Almost every day you keep on the ground. Can't you mount into the air?" "Of course I can," answered the raven. "There are some strange things in my father's lodge," said the pretty daughter, "and I don't know what they are. They're not good to eat, and I don't see what else they're good for. Will you come and see them?" "I will go wherever you ask me," declared the raven. The eagle's lodge was far up on the top of a high mountain, but the two birds were soon there, and the pretty daughter showed the raven the strange things. She knew what they were, and she said to herself, "People shall have them, and by they will be no less wise than the birds." Then she asked, "Had your father a magic cloak?" "Yes," answered the pretty daughter. "May I put it on?" "Oh, yes, surely." When the raven had once more put on the magic cloak, she seized the strange things and put them under it. Then she called, "I'll come again soon, my pretty little cousin, and tell you all about the people on the earth." The things under her cloak were strange indeed, for one was the sun and one was the moon. There were hundreds of bright stars, and there were brooks and rivers and waterfalls. Best of all, there was a precious gift of fire. The raven put the sun high up in the heavens and fastened the moon and stars in their places. She let the brooks run down the sides of the mountains, and she hid the fire away in the rocks. After a while, people found all these precious gifts. They knew when it was night and when it was day, and they learned how to use fire. They can't mount into the air like the eagle, but in some things, they're almost as wise as the birds.